Boo.
Well, to say that I have enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima and it is a successful game, I think that's an understatement. But with the success of a TV series or a gaming series or any kind of success comes the question, what is next? Now I've been wondering this, what is next for Sucker Punch? Now my first thought was maybe a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. Feels like a given. I mean, the game sold like 2.5 million copies in just the first 3 days. So a sequel to that it feels like something that they will do. Now the multiplayer was also a big success, or I believe it is at least, but to me it's a success at least. So far I'm very intrigued by the multiplayer game, or multiplayer game part. I've played a few different modes and rounds and the story with the three of the 4 classes, and I've enjoyed it quite much. It's a bit different than from the single player experience, which is a good thing. I love that. I'm wondering a bit why they changed the controls a little bit, but I'm fine with it. Not too much of the controls were changed, of course, just one or two things. But the multiplayer mode is fantastic, but so far not everything is released on that, so I imagine they will have a team working on that. But what will maybe the bigger part of Sucker Punch do? I don't know how many employees they have, because I tried to look that up, but I couldn't find anything definitive. But I imagine they have quite a big team. But what could they do? My first thought came to the Sly Cooper games, because those are old games, and now with the PlayStation 5 coming, and we have seen Crash Bandicoot Trilogy, we have seen Spyro Trilogy, a new Ratchet and Clank game is coming, and with that, I can only see that why not return some more of the old PlayStation mascots to the new generation, and preferably also to the PlayStation 4. Now, another gaming series that is also on the PlayStation is, of course, Jak and Daxter, which is available on the PlayStation 4 on the store, the older games, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, the Sly Cooper games doesn't seem to be available. So I would love a remaster of Sly Cooper 1, 2 and 3. I think there are 4 games, so a Sly Cooper quadrilogy would be awesome for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. I will add that I have not played the Sly Cooper games myself, but I imagine they can be fun. I love experiencing these older games that I have missed, because they flew right on the radar for me. Why did I do that? Oh wait. Anyway, we also have the Infamous series that ended in 2014 with the spin-off First Light. Now imagine that there was a small team working on Infamous First Light, because I've heard that they have worked on Ghost of Tsushima from as far back as 2013. That's when the idea started coming and they started writing or something like that. So that is 7 years, so 6 years without a Infamous game, and I'm wondering if they're gonna revive that series. Now, I haven't played First Light. I have the game, but I haven't gotten around to it in 3 years. Or 4 years that I've owned a PlayStation 4. Sorry, my bad. But I would still love to see another game in that series, because the first game I played or the first Infamous game was amazing to me. It was a new generation of games. It came out in, 2008? So it was kind of new to the generation, kind of new at least, but well, it was kind of like experiencing Star Wars The Force Unleashed for the first time. I played a demo of both Infamous and The Force Unleashed like crazy. I mean, they were just demos, like 30 minutes long, but I played like hell. I played those over and over and tried to do things better and better each time. I enjoyed that very much, and as soon as I could, I got my hands on the game and I loved it from start to finish. Most of the time. Every game has little quirks to work out. Now, moving on. I would love to see a new Infamous game. I enjoyed the first game, the second game, and also Second Son. Now, the first game is still kind of a favorite, but still a new game in that series. But don't go with the older protagonist, Cole, and what was his name? Dennis? Denson? Something like that. Don't go with those two. Just introduce us to a new one. Please. Because I would love to play as a new one. And don't go with kinetic powers, because that would be like playing Control or The Force Unleashed. So I would much rather see ice, or maybe fire is a bit overdone. Maybe ice is too, but earth or fire, or maybe even plant. I mean, like Poison Ivy from Batman, control plants or something. I don't know. Or water, that would be kind of a new thing. Or no, I can't think of anything else. Well, darkness. I mean, control the dark, like in the game Darkness. I think you have some kind of control of the dark in that. Anyway, moving on. Going back to a game, shortening Ghost of Tsushima to GOT in the script is a bad thing, because even I, who don't watch Game of Thrones, think of Game of Thrones. Oh, what has that series done to our lives? Really. Even moving past that, we could see a Ghost of Tsushima for the new generation. But I'm not sure that all of the employees at Sucker Punch will work on that. But I would love to see that for a PlayStation 5 version, even though I won't own a PlayStation 5 at launch or later. But I would love to see that for the new generation, because of the level of details in Ghost of Tsushima right now on the PlayStation 4 is breathtaking, to say the least. At least to me. And I can only imagine what kind of details they could add to the game for a next generation. And like the loading screens would be non-existent. You would press play and then like 3 seconds later it would be in the game. Jesus Christ, Ghost of Tsushima loads fast, even on the PlayStation 4. Now, we could also see what's the word I'm looking for? A port from the PlayStation 4 to PC of Ghost of Tsushima. But I'm not sure that Sucker Punch themselves would work on a port like that. I'm not sure how familiar they are with PC ports or PC games overall. So that could be overtaken by another studio who will do a port of the game. Maybe. Because I think we have seen Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC, so Ghost of Tsushima is not that big of a step. But I imagine Sony will want to wait maybe a year or maybe even 2 years before making a port, because they do want to sell their console first of all. So I also thought about what Sucker Punch could do with a new IP. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima was a big success, and continuing that success with a sequel is very, I would say, given, like I said before. But a new IP, with the success of Ghost of Tsushima, a new IP might, I would say, tickle their bones again, because Ghost of Tsushima is new and it was a success, so why not try that again? But they also say don't push your luck. So a new IP could be on the table for Sucker Punch. But moving on from that, what should Sucker Punch do? Should they do a remaster of the Sly Cooper games? Maybe an entire new Sly Cooper game. I mean, starting over from scratch and making a whole new one. Question is, though, would Sucker Punch themselves do the remaster of the older Sly Cooper games? Or could, I imagine, if Sony is the owner of the name and brand and all that, could they maybe tell another studio to do the remaster? Maybe. I would love to see a Sly Cooper remaster for trilogy, at least. And a new game is not something I would be against. I mean, just look at Ratchet and Clank, the new game that's coming for PlayStation 5. Imagine that. Imagine a new Sly Cooper game also on the PlayStation 5. They could do wonders with that. But also, could they do a new Infamous game? I was thinking about the remaster for maybe the first or the first two games, but could that be a bit early? I'm not sure, but we have also seen remasters of games that are, well, younger than for the first Infamous game, so a remaster of the first game might not be that far-fetched, but still, I'm not sure it's something I would say would take priority. Leave that to another studio in that case. I would just rather see Sucker Punch work on something else, in my opinion. Or are they working on a sequel right now to Ghost of Tsushima? I would love to know, but, well, I think it's too early to tell, but I imagine a part of their team is working on something else. Because having their entire team working on the multiplayer aspect, I'm not sure they are doing that. That feels a bit too much. But enough of what I think. What do you think? Now put your thoughts down in the comments and tell me if I'm wrong or dead wrong, or am I on to something here? I'm not sure which. Well, what do you think? Put your thoughts down in the comments. I've been Swippy92, have a great life, and I hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye! Boo! I love that mask. Looks great.